My name is Jacob Alden. I'm the president and owner of Morgan Transfer. We are a moving and storage company for United Van Lines. I also own A&D Relocation Services. We're a mover for Mayflower Van Lines. It's been challenging.
Yeah.
Learning the industry. I came from outside the industry,
Oh, okay.
so came from banking, and there's a lot to learn. The cash flow situation for moving companies is you have expenditures all year long, but the money really doesn't come in until the summer, and then you just try to hold on to it and make it last any way you can. Certain costs like fuel goes up as our work increases, so that's I don't mind paying the fuel. It means we're working harder, have more jobs. So move things safely, securely, and get it to the other side. It seems simple, but it's really not, and it's grinding day in and day out. It takes a toll on these guys' backs, and so the quality of people you have, well, I feel lucky to have the quality of people that I have here, but sometimes things happen. Good customer service to me feels like there's no hang-ups from start to finish. So my background's in the banking industry, and the last thing you want is to make it difficult for someone to deposit their money. I mean, it's a simple transaction. You do it day in, day out, and here's somebody who wants to make money, put money in your bank, and maybe your pens don't work, or there's no deposit slips out on the counter, or the person gives you the 10th degree about your check that you've deposited for the last 10 years. My vendors that I think do things well or have immediate response, which I sometimes how are they even on their computer at this time of night? I'm not expecting a response till the next day, and somehow at 6:15 in the evening they should be eating with their families, and I might even make a little joke on my response you should be home. And yet they still find ways to respond to me, and I'm like, wow. There's a company that tried to take the business away from him and was here every couple weeks and was trying to wow me with personal contact, and the personal contact was great from this other company, but ultimately didn't get the business away from me just because of the personality that Fred brought, the level of service. He didn't have to take me out to lunch every 2 or 3 weeks. He just was always there. We were operating with cash pretty much, and we'd hand guys money every morning and expect a receipt back every evening, and then we're tracking people down for receipts. We're trying to get change. And then we had a gal that was just tracking that regularly and applying it to jobs and hopefully the crew member wrote the right job on there. What a nightmare. So that's what it looked like at first. And then after talking with Allison, we looked at a fuel card program, something that we could use here locally as well as nationally, because we do go out of the state frequently, all the West Coast, and we want a location and convenience and access, and a way to track. Sometimes they'll get to a fuel station where we feel that fuel station should accept this card should work, and for whatever reason the card's not active, or the guy's using his wrong PIN, or currently right now they call me and it's a panic call, and they're on the customer's dime, and then I have to solve it. It winds up being an extra step where this guy's beating his head against the wall, calls our dispatcher, who then calls me, and then I call our fueling rep here, and they always pick up, which is awesome. But it'd be nice to be able to short circuit that. For example, if my driver, and this has happened lots of times, they don't always enter in the data that they're supposed to. If they don't track how many miles they've driven through California, when you wind up paying your taxes, they take the longest possible route through California as the default. So that could, maybe you just cross through for 30 miles or something on a one-lane highway, but you wind up getting taxed for, what, 962 miles. A lot of it has to do probably with our driver inputs, or maybe there's a way to track to the GPS positioning system within the truck and somehow link that up. We spend a lot of time using maps in here to plan the distance traveled, where a GPS with a fuel receipt maybe married together could give us some type of aspect on what we've done. There's so many fires to put out, so many challenges, so many different regulatory and taxing authorities that want you to report to them, and then the employees' issues, and I didn't feel like I could feel as attached to my employees as I do. Some of them are knuckleheads, I still love them. I don't know how that's possible, but it's a real feeling of accomplishment when you go home and say, oh, I gave it everything, and you just collapse into your chair.